Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the honourable members, my colleague ministers, I rise in support of the 2018-2019 national budget as delivered by the Honourable Minister of Economy. Madam Speaker, at the outset, very briefly, I would like to respond on the issues raised by the opposition members during today's debate. Wanembia Jetty. Madam Speaker, the truth is that the land side investigation has been carried out. That was the first phase of the work. So in other words, the work has started as far as the jetty is concerned. You just cannot just go and build the jetty. Listen. Madam Speaker, the location has been identified as well. Madam Speaker, FRA has confirmed me that the tender is going out for the ocean studies, geotechnical study, and structural design. That is the truth, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, secondly, on the Namoli land in Lotoka, which was raised by Honorable Gavoka, I wish to inform the Honorable Member that the land within the city where Namoli is situated is occupied by the villagers themselves, and Council is providing them free garbage collection, provision of street lights, and other services. So I don't know which land he is talking about. And even the town rates, they are not paid. They have been exempted. Thirdly, the Sabu Sabu land, which was raised by Honorable Chan, unfortunately is not here. The Sabu Sabu Town Council has confirmed that no land which was under Town Council has been sold out to any of the businessmen. Fourthly, Madam Speaker, issues raised by Honorable Aseri during his presentation on the Water Authority 33 million saga. Madam Speaker, KPMG audit report has been handed over to FICAC for investigation. Other issues that were raised by the Honourable Member, let me inform this Honourable House that most of the issues that were raised in terms of roads, bridges and jetties are all in the program. And I only wish that he would have time to look into the SECLA or the list that has been issued, the breakdown. Madam Speaker, he also criticized us on the issuance of taxi permit. He is very much aware of the reform that is taking place. All taxi permits will be issued based on the zoning now. But the issue that he raised was that all those who paid are still waiting. There is no truth in it. The truth is that all those who paid before freeze and during freeze to LTA, with evidence, they all have been issued taxi permit. That is the truth. And Honorable Attorney General have given them the taxi permits. Finally, Madam Speaker, we were in Lambasa last week, and yes, during the freeze, there were certain people who have paid to LTA the fee. So when they came to LTA, you want some response? Let me respond. So with those evidence that were presented to the committee have agreed and said that these people have paid and they should be given the permit, which we have issued. Finally, Madam Speaker, we were in Lambasa last week. There were a lot of issues raised about the bus industry, especially the bus services. And in all our Talanoa sessions, this issue has been raised. So what we have asked LTA to carry out a survey in terms of service provided by the bus companies. And let me say this, if the report comes as true as what people have been complaining through our Talanoa session, I can tell you now all those routes will go on tender. It will go in the newspaper, and we want companies to provide services, because this has been raised by the people of Lambasa, Madam Speaker, and we have got all the records in regards to this. Madam Speaker, let me go on to the budget proper response, Madam Speaker, with the theme of uplifting families, uplifting Fiji. I congratulate the Honourable Minister for Economy and his staff for a budget that promotes economic growth. And Madam Speaker, at the same time, a socially and economically budget addressing the needs of the poor and disadvantaged segments of our communities. It is a family-friendly and friendly-focused budget, in particular for low-income earners and our rural Fijians. Madam Speaker, I also thank government for its tireless efforts in the last 8 years, resulting in the healthy reserves, in ensuring low inflation rates and in growing exports. All Fijians can be comfortable with a positive economic outlook. This is a clear indication of having the right economic policies under the Fiji Affairs government that all Fijians are benefiting from, including the opposition members. Madam Speaker, before I turn to areas under my portfolio, let me briefly highlight on the historic allocation to honour the indentured labourers of Girmitias. The celebration to mark the 140th year of arrival of these deprived labourers from India to Fiji will allow all Fijians to remember and pay their respect to their remarkable stories of hardship and survival. It is part of our shared history that we must never forget. Madam Speaker, allow me to also commend the initiative announced in the budget to provide incentives for the upgrade of buildings. This has long been an issue for Fijian municipal councils. The upkeep of properties in our towns and cities are often neglected, leading to many buildings being eyesores. While councils are tasked with ensuring that properties are presentable, they lack the proper legislation to force compliance. I am hopeful, Madam Speaker, that property owners will take advantage of the incentives and ensure that their buildings are clean, structurally sound and presentable. Madam Speaker, before I turn to some key allocations and its projected benefits to all Fijians, let me respond to some of the comments and in particular ill-founded and baseless criticism of the budget. Madam Speaker, some of these critics seem to have discovered a new catchword. Election budget, full soap, is their catchcry. It seems some of the opposition members bring out this catchword when they are lost for votes and having nothing of note to express on the budget. Madam Speaker, as the Honourable Minister of Economy in his delivery of the budget pointed out, and as his facts and figures and sound fiscal policy points out, it was an infrastructure and economic growth budget. A budget that provides for all Fijians and has all Fijians covered under its provision. Madam Speaker, I commend the budget for taking the brave role of a spending budget when the easier path in an election year was to tighten spending to show that we are good economic managers. This brave approach is based on the sound reasoning of ensuring continuity of its infrastructure and economic development and growth for all Fijians. Tightening of the belt is not required when we have unprecedented growth of 8 years with sound projections of even more growth into the 9th year. Fijians are enjoying many of the benefits of this targeted infrastructure and economic development approach. This was not always so, Madam Speaker, especially in the 90s. Madam Speaker, the failure of the 1993 budget and the repeated failures of the budgets during Mr. Rambuka's leadership left behind only a poor legacy for all Fijians. Madam Speaker, neglect of capital investment in areas such as roads, jetties, airports, water, electricity, telecommunication, housing and the environment is the legacy that previous governments left behind since independence to 2006. That's the fact. Today, it is easy for those so-called leaders to engage in a scare tactic that the present government's budget will be burden on our children. Madam Speaker, the truth is that the children of the generation under his leadership were the ones burdened by underdevelopment that was legacy of the rot in his government. This burden in the past decade or so has been lifted through the current government, Fiji First government, on the sound fiscal policies. The 2018-2019 budget outlines many of these achievements in capital projects and infrastructure. Perhaps the most shining of these examples are the newly transformed Nandi International Airport and the roadworks and landscapes from Naisoso to Matintal. Madam Speaker, let me go back on the opposition's catchword, that is election budget and all this nonsense. Madam Speaker, let me state, it is not an election budget, nor an irresponsible spend of public funds. Just as giving people a hand up after a natural disaster is not an election freebies. As a responsible government, post-disaster relief is given in a good faith, on the principle that those who have suffered and lost need to be given assistance in getting their lives together again. And let us not forget that these forms of special assistance are all based on aiding those Fijians whose income fall below a particular threshold. This is what they don't understand. They're saying that the rich will get richer, the poor will get poor. But they don't realize all the initiatives by this government has a ceiling. There's a threshold, less than 20,000, 30,000. Who are these people? These are the very poor people of our community, which no government even bothered to think about them. And I'll be coming more on that. As such, it is not a free for all situation, but a means-tested and means-based system of providing a hand up for those in need. Madam Speaker, our recent initiative of home care is a hand up, not an hand out, or a freebie or election gimmick, as stated by Sudalpa and NFP. You know, sometimes I just wonder how you people are sleeping at night after saying all these things, that it is a freebie, hand out, and to our people. You know, it hurts, honestly. But can't help, we have this. Ask those who suffered and lost homes and livelihoods, and they will acknowledge such relief for what it is and give their appreciation where it is due. And for those who are pointing fingers at the post-disaster relief effort, it is timely, Madam Speaker, to remind them that our sustained economic growth of 8 years have been through some of the most extreme weather events ever faced in Fiji. Relief efforts and recovery from events such as TC Winston and recent floodings have been remarkable and on the back of Fiji's strong physical position. This is testimony to a strong Fijian economy under the Fiji First government, like the Fijian people that they represent. Madam Speaker, as I tend to speak about the budget and departments under my portfolio, namely in local government, infrastructure and transport, I would like to highlight some of the key areas rather than a blow-by-blow of the budgetary allocations. I welcome the initiative of government to move the Rural Local Authority from the Ministry of Health to the Ministry for Local Government. This will, Madam Speaker, enable centralized inspection and approving process for new developments. This will also bring National Solid Waste Management under the Ministry of Local Government, thus aligning our efforts in this critical area as well as approval process for land and building development. Madam Speaker, among other key investments have been that in municipal markets, the timely completion of these projects means that not only consumers but small businesses operators in the form of market vendors will all benefit from additional and improved marketplaces. In addition, we have embarked on an upgrading of markets to make better use of natural lighting and ventilation in response to climatic changes. Madam Speaker, sporting and recreational facilities has been another key area of investment by the Fiji Affairs government. This has been rolled out across Fijian towns and cities. As is evident in the budget allocation, this is the most comprehensive upgrade of municipal sporting facilities in Fiji's history, including sporting parks, construction of swimming pools, and children's parks for our young ones. Madam Speaker, Department of Town and Country Planning. Madam Speaker, in Fiji, another key local government initiative is to have partnership with the right development partners. In planning our cities and towns for the future, I am pleased to announce the sharing of Singapore experience in integrated urban solutions on urban master planning. Madam Speaker, I am also pleased to announce that as part of our partnership, Dr. Liu, the renowned former city planner of Singapore and architect, is part of the team to assist us in planning of our towns and cities for the future. Madam Speaker, they will be in the country on the 15th of this month. Madam Speaker, Department of Housing. Madam Speaker, I would like to thank the government in announcing the formation of a new ministry in the 2018-19 financial year with a total funding of 41.4 million. This is the Ministry of Housing and Community Development with a mandate to increase the home ownership rate, quality affordable homes, thus realizing the right to housing for every Fijian as enshrined in the Fijian Constitution. Madam Speaker, there has been a lot of talks by the opposition in terms of informal settlement. Madam Speaker, I wish to briefly address on informal settlements projects under the National Housing Policy. Madam Speaker, as of today, my ministry in partnership with ITLTB and landowners have processed 32. I've just heard one of the opposition members saying that this government has failed to formalize the informal settlements. Hear me out. Madam Speaker, as of today, my ministry in partnership with ITLTB and landowners have processed 32 development leases for the upgrading of these settlements. Madam Speaker, an estimate of 15,350 Fijians will benefit from this project. Madam Speaker, may I also inform this Honourable House that a total of around 1.5 million has been paid to TLTB to be paid to the members of the landowning unit. This is apart from 685,000 that we have paid for the new town development. This is the fact. Don't just come here and say that nothing has happened. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Infrastructure and Transport is happy with the budget it has been allocated to deliver its services. This will ensure that our people are empowered and enabled through the provision of critical infrastructure, which was neglected by the previous government, such as roads, jetties, bridges, and delivery of basic services such as water supply and electricity. Madam Speaker, I will focus my presentation on energy and transport sector as these are key drivers of development and economic growth. Madam Speaker, government aims to provide clean and affordable energy solution to Fiji with at least 99% of the energy requirements through renewable source by 2030. Madam Speaker, the 2018-2019 budget for the Department of Energy reaffirms government's commitment to connect every rural Fijian community to sustainable, reliable and clean source of electricity. This is reflected in the significant increase in the budget of 61.2 million announced for the rural electrification. Madam Speaker, government is committed to further increasing the use of renewable energy with a stated target of 99% by the year 2030. The EFL has a roadmap to achieve its mission by 2025, together with government's target by 2030. Madam Speaker, government will continue the monthly threshold of electricity subsidy for the first 100 kilowatts users per month, which confines to households with a combined income of $30,000 or less per annum. Madam Speaker, briefly on LTA. LTA, Madam Speaker, will continue to strengthen its enforcement and compliance strategy in areas of overloading, speeding, and illegal operation. Madam Speaker, in closing, let me add that this is a budget that delivers for all Fijians and for all times. It is a sound budget. It is a soundly reasoned budget. It is a budget that bridges the achievements of previous years to projections of future years. And it is a budget that not only promises but delivers on all accounts of all Fijians. Madam Speaker, as a sound and responsible budget, as it is one that provides for all Fijians while staying within our means to do so in a sustainable and responsible manner. Madam Speaker, I thank you and all and reiterate my support for the 2018.